Hey everybody, hope you're all well. It's Tuesday, the 28th of April, 2020. Still in quarantine, as is most of the world. There's actually a new term for it now called quarantine fatigue, and I definitely think I've got it, as do most people. At least where I live, you're not allowed to go to the beaches, there's no restaurants, there's nothing. So yeah, it's getting pretty tiring, and I've been in quarantine now since the 20th of March, so it's over a month, so 38 days, yeah, and it definitely feels like quarantine fatigue or lockdown fatigue. Anyway, thank you for joining us again, and as per my last episode, I started this new stream, EGIL.TRADE, on the crypto podcast sponsored by CryptoFish. Because I'm in confinement, I have time, and I'd like to share some ideas and talk about what news I found out there with regards to Bitcoin, financial markets, trading, or anything related to that. I'm not a professional trader, and by professional, I mean I do not do this as my source of income. I trade, and I have been trading for several years, but it's not my primary source of income. So just let that be known. The second thing is, please do not take any of this as financial advice. Do not take any trades or any financial positions or any investments or anything based on anything that you hear here. This is purely for entertainment and educational purposes. Okay, now that's out the way. So, guys, this is sponsored by CryptoFish, a company that I'm proud to be part of. It's a non-custodial platform that you can buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. It's really simple to use. You just put the amount in, choose your cryptocurrency that you want, US dollars, euros, and you can choose your payment method internationally, over 185 countries. You can use debit or credit card. In the US, you can use ACH. In Europe, you can use SEPA bank transfer. In the UK, you can use bank transfer by Foster Payments. Soon we'll be adding US bank wire. We also have an exchange, a simple to use exchange, nothing complicated, no candlesticks or anything like that. You just put in the amount that you want, what currency, and you can change it. It's pretty much instant. We also have a learning section, absolutely for free. Take it as you like. Bitcoin 101, Crypto 101, Blockchain 101, Cryptopedia, which is basically like a glossary of all the terms within the crypto space, giving you all the definitions. We have a completely free learning portal, video learning portal, where you can learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and inside there we've even created some of our own videos. But basically it's a curated list that we found on the internet. Like we've taken a few of Andreas Antonopoulos' videos and some of the speeches from conferences and things like that, put it together all in one place as a resource for somebody who wants to just dip their feet into the space. Along with our videos that we've created, which is I think it's a 7-part course, basically taking you from an introduction to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency all the way through to the uses and how it works, the blockchain and everything else. Also, you have our crypto podcast there. And for those of you who want to become an affiliate, you can join there and you can earn a commission for referring people to buy Bitcoin with us. Okay, get that out the way. The first thing I want to have a look at is the charts today. I'm on a monthly scale. Chart I'm using today is Bitstamp. Last time we had this episode, I marked off all the yearly opens, and you can still see they're there. Year open 2018. I have a weekly swing high here. Year open 2020. Year open 2019. Year open 2017. Just for fun, just for humor purposes, I did mention that we haven't tagged the year open 2017 yet, and because Bitcoin seems to like to tag year opens. I just found that a little bit concerning, but I'm only joking. I really don't think we're going down to $966, guys, but it is funny anyway. So for me on the monthly chart, what I'm looking at here, we've only got 2 days to go, so this candle will be closing in 2 days' time, and we are all watching this 21 EMA. Will Bitcoin close above or below the 21 EMA? Now, if it closes above, I'm bullish, and I'll be looking for entries long. Potentially, if it had to come back down and test the 21 EMA, I'd be looking to enter there. And if it closed below, I wouldn't be bullish. Let me put it that way. But I'd be watching it very carefully because it is, depending on how it closes. But below the 21 EMA, I'm leaning towards it doing that. But let's see what happens. If it closes below, probably we're going to have a little bit more downside or more consolidation below the 21 EMA before recovering. But yeah, that's just mental gymnastics, really. We don't know what's going to happen, but that's what I'm looking at. 21 EMA there. If we close above, I'll be bullish. If we close below, I'll be leaning more bearish. If we go down to the weekly time frame, what I do find bullish here is that we did manage to sneak above the 21 EMA on a closing basis. And also this candle does look quite powerful. I mean, we took out all the highs there and closed up above the 21 EMA. And like you can see now that we've got this current week, but we're only on Tuesday, is trapped between the 21 EMA and the 55. But yeah, we've still got quite a few days left to play out. What I would be doing is watching the CMEs to see how they close on Friday, to give some sort of indication of perhaps what we might be looking at on a closing basis on the crypto-based exchanges. Because as you know, they operate on weekends, whereas the CME closes on a Friday and reopens on the Sunday early hours in the morning for me. Yeah, so on the weekly basis, I am leaning bullish, but yeah, it's a no trade zone for me right now. I'm watching. I really want to see how the monthly candle closes. And with the 21 EMA on the monthly being around about 7,300 and us only being currently at 7,752, we're not that far away. Bitcoin can move $1,000 in a couple of minutes. And that's only $300 or $400. So I think I'm hoping that my patience pays off. I want to see how it closes. If we go down into lower time frames, the things that we're still watching are the death cross. We're still operating under this death cross here on the 2-day. We have managed to close above the 55. And I don't know, have we closed above no, we haven't managed to close above the 200 EMA. I'd be looking for that to continue acting as resistance. We might venture above over the next day or so. We don't have a closure coming this close. It'll be the next close. So yeah, we might venture up a little bit above and come back and close below that 200 EMA. If we do start closing 2-day candles above the 200 EMA, then I'd be leaning more bullish than anything else and probably look for a move probably into the mid 8,000s. Yeah, I mean, we've got the 200 SMA at 8,300, and I do have some interest here that could act as resistance. So yeah, probably look at the mid 8,000, 8.3 to 8.5, and if that goes, then perhaps we do see 9K. A lot of people are on crypto Twitter saying 9K. Who knows? Maybe that's what we need to get the fear and greed index to swing from fear to greed before slamming them all back down again. Yeah, if we go look at the 12-hour, which I'm watching very carefully, it's going to close in how many? Let's see, it's closing for me now in an hour and 10 minutes. What I am watching here is to see if it can get above the 200 SMA on a closing basis. Another thing that I am watching is, as Eric Crown would say, is the 12-hour Stokes. They've been exceptionally useful. If you just traded them, you would have done very well, as Eric would say. A cheat code, I think that's what he calls it. And they're right up there. And then the 12-hour Stokes don't generally like to stay up there for too long. So yeah, the next closure should be interesting. If the bulls want to do something, they should do it soon, I would say. All these indecisive candles, but they are leaking upwards. In a row. I think it's kind of a now or never situation, in my opinion. My opinion only, please. So on the macro time frames, I mean the real macro long term Bitcoin, I'm bullish completely. But looking at the charts, I think that on the medium time frames here, 12-hour and daily, I think we due for a little bit of a pullback. I would say nothing too drastic, but perhaps a pullback down to yearly open. Bitcoin, maybe we need to just test that region a bit, and you'll find 7,168, and the 21 EMA on the monthly is at 7,300. So there or thereabouts in that region, I would say. But I would like to pick a trade up off the 71, a long trade off there if it reacts nicely to that support. Other than that, not much else has happened. It's like watching paint dry. The Bitcoin has really been trapped in a very tight range. Volatility's dropped off. So yeah, only one thing can happen after that. It's going to expand, and I think it's building up. It's building up. I think rather sooner than later we're going to see a move, and I think it's going to be quite a big move. And something to look forward to. All right, enough of the charts. Moving on to this article that I picked up. There's a guy on crypto Twitter called Plan B, and he is quite famous for coming up with the S2F model, which is a stock to flow model. Basically, it's a stock to flow ratio, and it's how you determine how hard an asset is, basically. So as he puts it, the stock of Bitcoin will be all the Bitcoins in circulation currently, and the flow is the emission of the Bitcoins, every 10 minutes. So right now, every 10 minutes, it's 12.5 Bitcoins. After the halving, it's going to be 6.25 Bitcoins. So that the ratio between the stock to flow is going to change naturally. And with that, he's giving us a total market valuation or capitalization of $1 trillion following the upcoming Bitcoin halving in May 2020. If that model is correct, they're saying the price of Bitcoin will be $55,000. Yeah, well, I hope so. That would be really great. I don't think it's going to go up there in a straight line, and they don't give any exact time frame around that, but they say after the halving, so it could be any time after. But in any event, he's now taken that S2F model and he's had an X to it, S2FX now. So basically what this is he's saying that there's different phases of transition, or different phases that the asset transits through, okay? And for example, he uses the US dollar. He says, the US dollar transitioned from being a gold coin to a paper-backed gold, to being paper backed by gold, to paper being backed by nothing. So those are different sort of phases in the life of that of the dollar. So now with Bitcoin, he's saying the first phase was the proof of concept phase, right after Bitcoin's white paper was published. And then after that was the payments phase, once it hit parity with the US dollar. And then after that, he calls it the e-gold phase, after the first halving as the price reached the price of gold. And then the last phase he calls the financial asset phase, which is after the second halving, when Bitcoin received legal clarity in certain countries, but also it became, they made derivative markets, futures markets, backed options, etc. And, it sort of legitimized Bitcoin as a financial asset. So he's saying due to that, he has to arrange this model into clusters. So he puts it together here in Bitcoin clusters, and obviously with the different phases. And then he goes on further and he now compares it against silver and gold. Now, based on this, he's saying that Bitcoin will have a valuation of $288,000 per Bitcoin by 2024, which would give it a market capitalization of 5.5 trillion. I actually don't think this is too far-fetched, but it is so far into the future. 4 years, I can barely see into next week at this stage. But 4 years from now, I definitely think it is plausible that if Bitcoin is still around, that it'll be worth $288,000. That's a very precise number, and you need a crystal ball to really. He backs it up with a lot of analysis and charts and figures and research. Good for him, and let's hope it does. That'll be great. Bitcoin's worth $288,000. That'll be wonderful. But I have to ask the question: really, what is the dollar worth if Bitcoin's worth $288,000? Then surely the dollar's lost all its value. All right, next thing, we do have the blockchain, the Bitcoin block reward halving countdown. 14 days to go, guys. 14 days, 1 hour, 1 minute and 42 seconds. So that's something to look forward to. I'm pretty sure that the run-up in price that we've seen up to now, and perhaps we might see over the next coming days, is partly due to that. I think a lot of retailers are jumping in, buying, anticipating a huge pump in price post-halving. I personally don't think that's going to happen, but that's fine. But yeah, 14 days to go. It is a big event. It's a monumental event, and what you'll find is in previous Bitcoin halvings, a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people get together and actually have Bitcoin halving parties. It's quite strange, but it's pretty cool in a way. Everybody is looking at the same clock and watches the same thing. So yeah, it brings a lot of people together. And the next thing I want to bring up is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Again, like I did last time, it's still ticking quite low. The usefulness of this Fear and Greed Index is when it's at extreme reads. So, if it's somewhere in the middle or, sort of vaguely off to either side of the middle, it's not very helpful. It's when you get extreme reads, you generally tend to see a counter move. So when there's extreme fear, generally, the market's too pessimistic and it will correct back up again, trapping all the people that are, that have sold or shorted near the bottom. And likewise, when the market's too euphoric and thinks that price can only go up, to the moon, you generally get a counter move, a crash, a pullback, something like that. Even if it's a healthy one, it doesn't matter. You generally do get that, but yeah, it's kind of a low reading for where the price is. We are well off the lows, and it's still reading at 27. So I would, I don't know if this would be something akin to, if you look at the market cycles of disbelief that the market's improving on the uptrend. So yeah, maybe there's merit to that. But if you look at the back in history, it doesn't generally stay this low for very long. It is interesting. I mean, I would expect maybe a quick up move to get this to read into the positive territory again, get all the bulls excited. But it's definitely something to watch. Okay, guys. Another thing I wanted to mention is that if you look in the description in our video below, we've got a link to our Discord. Please come join us. It's absolutely for free. We've got some good traders there who have joined, sharing ideas, sharing information, ask questions. It's a great bunch of people. Also, if you look in the description below, you will see a link to Nibiru trading and risk management course. What that is put together by a guy named Jackie, and he teaches a very, very solid course which comes with special indicators that he's designed, proprietary stuff that helps traders become more profitable. He's kindly given us 30% off that. So if you use those links below, you'll get 30% off the cost of those courses, and it'll be money well spent, I can guarantee you. Have a look at that. And also, if you go onto our channel, you will see that I have done an interview with Jackie. So if you want to know more about him and find out how he thinks and how he trades and what strategies he uses and what psychology he uses, listen to that interview. Other than that, there's also interviews with other good traders. I've got a section in our channel there called Crypto Market Wizards. We interview Eric Crown from Crown's Crypto Cave. He's amazing, hands down, probably the best trader I've ever met and ever spoken to. Great interview with him. We also have Maddie Greenspan, who's the ex-financial analyst at eToro. We've got Teddy Kleps and a few other guys that you can have a look at there. Great interviews. And this coming week, we'll be getting Socrates back on, the co-author of the book Hyperwave. He'll be joining us to talk about Hyperwave and what he sees happening in the market post-halving, as well as we'll probably talk a bit about gold and some other financial assets, and maybe even a little bit about poker. Other than that, thank you for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next show. And yeah, look forward to any feedback that you have. Remember, guys, I'm pretty new to this, so go easy on the criticism, but I do welcome it. If there's any way I can improve or anything you want to add or change, well, my ears are open. I'm ready to do so. Have a great Tuesday and stay safe and happy trading.